Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Mixed Media Frenzy. And we are scrap lifting our very own Scrappy Kathy today. And this layout is awesome. It's very beautiful. I think Adam chose this one this week. I don't know how Kathy got that blue on there in that manner. I don't know if she sprayed it like really amazingly, like in swatches, or if she used some water to apply it, but I went with a very controlled manner, and I used my paintbrush and dipped it into the inks that I'm using. So I've got that Oxide inks in Spun Sugar and in aged Mahogany, and I do decide that the Spun Sugar doesn't quite show up as much as I want, so I am going to add some of that Nuvo Mica mist that you see on the right hand side there to both of those two swatches. My paper is taped down to this foam board, which is covered in packing tape that provides a moisture barrier. And this is something that I like to do because I don't really like the warped look of mixed media. So I find that by doing this, and if I let it dry completely while it's still taped down, I have very little warping to my papers. So I do use a heat gun in this particular instance because the paper that I'm using is gessoed. Now I wouldn't have necessarily needed to use gessoed paper, but I already had it on the board, and I figured, you know what, I'm just going to go for it, and it's there, so let's just do it. So now I'm adding some sparkle spray from Nuvo in Amethyst and some Nuvo Mica Mist in Turkish Rose. And I'm going to go ahead and just put those down in these swatches here and dry those. So I wanted to make sure the first two areas were dry before I added a little bit more because I didn't want it to just blend completely in. Kathy has some good differentiation between her different shades of blue. They don't all blend together like an ombre look. So I kind of wanted to honor that as well as I scrap lift her. So once everything is dry, I do add some splatter all over. She does have some splatter on her layout as well. And I am using the Nuvo sparkle spray for that, and then the Mica Mist as well, and a little bit of the Spun Sugar Oxide ink. So I'm liking the way that that's coming out, and once that is all dry, I am able to remove it from the board. While I am just kind of thinking about it, I wanted to make sure I didn't need it to add any additional mixed media. So I put my photos up there and my title, which are the two things that I have decided upon already before I removed it from the board. Now, I know this looks like a really pink layout, and that's Noah in the photo, but he's eating cotton candy, and cotton candy's pink, and his shirt is burgundy, so I thought it all worked well. And I have a great video of him eating this cotton candy. He is like going to town on it, shoving it in by the fistful, and it's hilarious. His parents kind of knew he was doing it. They had their back kind of to him. At the time, they were putting away some of their Christmas stuff, and my husband and I were sitting on the couch and watching him, and it was kind of funny. So I took a video of it. So what I did there was I added an additional piece of white paper, and I used my Catherine Pooler ink in Sangria, and I just rubbed it along the edges because I wanted to bring in more of that burgundy color. And I really tried to play off the burgundy color more than the pinks in this because it's a little bit more masculine, and his shirt is burgundy. And so by using the Catherine Pooler ink in that color, it just kind of draws everything together. I don't tend to keep much in the way of cardstock in my stash. I do have access to it. It's at my mom's house next door, but otherwise I don't really keep it at my house unless it's black or white. And so I'm able to add whatever colors I need around the outside edge. If that is something I want to do, I just use my ink pads. So I did pull in these 3 pieces of flair. These are from Dottie About Flair. So thank you, Adam, for those. They are awesome. I don't use flair on a lot of my layouts, but I do use them on some. I do really like them. But if I use them on too many layouts, they don't fit in my album because they are kind of bulky. Same is true with wood and acrylic. So you kind of pick and choose where you use them. I do really like the way that they look, though, and so I'm just giving a nod over to Adam and actually to Kathy because she's on that design team. So I thought these 3 pieces would be fun to pull in. Now I am also, or still using that ink in Sangria to ink up around the outside edges of the ephemera pieces that I am pulling in. I pulled out my bin of pink ephemera. I have 2 bins. I actually have 3. 2 in light pink and 1 in dark pink. And I just went through them and I pulled out anything I thought I might use. I put it off to the right hand side. And so I'm kind of just playing with the things that I think would work well. That picture, that little frame, it says 100% sweet on it. It was actually a frame from, I want to say Elle Studio, but I could be wrong on that. But that's usually where those those frames end up coming from. So I just cut it apart and I tucked the top in. So it says 100% sweet, which I thought was perfect because he's chowing down on cotton candy. So, you know, might as well go with that. And then I am going to use the bottom of the frame to stick out at the bottom of the photograph. So it looks like it's a piece of paper that just kind of like spanned the distance, even though it is a frame and it's not actually a piece of paper at all. Well, the frame is made out of paper, but it's not a complete piece of paper at all. And I think this piece here says something about it being truly epic. And so I thought that was perfect. And I'm going to put that at the bottom of my photograph. But then I realized that the little piece from the frame was not sticking out quite far enough because I just covered it up with that chipboard piece that says something about it being epic. So that is what I'm doing now. I am just moving that frame a little lower so it still peeks out and you can see it. I really tried to get that round circular piece there that is like that Sangria color that says high on there. I don't think that's going to make the cut at the end of the day, but I really did try to put it on there because it has that darker color and I really liked it. But you know, sometimes you just have to go with what you have, and you can't get it all on the layout. There will be more layouts and I will use it down the road if it doesn't make it on this layout. So I tend not to weed things out of my stash very often, especially when it comes to like these kind of stickers and ephemera bits. When I get pretty low on a sticker pack or an ephemera pack from any given company, I tend to cut them up by color and put them into my bins of color that are sorted by color. So it's really easy for me to do a monochromatic layout because I can just pull out the pink and pull out all kinds of pink and bring in all the different shades of pink onto one layout, or green or blue or whatever it may be. So I know a lot of people struggle with monochromatic layouts, but if you sort by color, it's very easy actually. The one thing you kind of do have to remember is if you're going to use that darker pink over on one side, you should use it in the other side as well to kind of draw your eye across and maintain balance. Now there are other ways to maintain balance, but that is one of the simplest ways, and so it's usually like the first thing I go for. I did bring in some thread and I created a little messy nest of thread underneath each one of these flare badges. I don't use thread in this manner very often, but I do really like it underneath the flare and I think it looks really cool, and I also like the fact that it's the darker color as well. And then I was looking for my glue there. I just tap a little bit of glue onto a bit of the thread to kind of hold it in place, and then I don't really hold it down very well, but because it is wrapped beneath that flare, that flare kind of just keeps it in place. And then I'm just playing around with how I want to tuck all of these little pieces in at the top. I did add a little bit of dimension to that ticket that I am inking up right there. So I added a little bit of foam behind it. It is tucked in at the bottom, so there's no foam at the bottom of the ticket, but the top of the ticket has a little bit of foam to give it a little bit of height, and I'm liking the way that that's looking. And here I'm making another little nest. And while I do that, I'll remind you that there are a bunch of people playing along for Mixed Media Frenzy. Go and check out their links down below. We are all lifting Scrappy Kathy today. Go and give them a little bit of love. I'm actually really curious to see what Kathy does as well. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. And go and see how they made this layout work for them. As you can see, for me, I actually flipped the entire layout horizontally so that my photo is on the left versus the right. And the reason I did that is because he is looking towards the right. And if I had put him off on the right, he would be looking off the page. So this keeps him looking on the page or looking towards the center of the page rather than off the page. And then that long strip that she has on hers, I am using as the place for my title, which says spectacular, and then I will write cotton candy on that little label that is right below it. So it's going to actually read spectacular cotton candy. Now I just do that in my own handwriting. It's not really part of the title, but it does read that if that is of any interest to anybody. And then I will add some journaling on the far right hand side in that really narrow strip that is going vertically. I am also adding a QR code to this, and you will see in the close-ups at the end that I put a placeholder for that QR code. I don't include the QR code in the video because the video that it is going to link to is for our family only. It's not really for the general public. And it is possible to like pause the video and then scan the QR code. And so I just don't do that just out of respect for my daughter and her family, because I know that she probably wouldn't want me to do that. But you will see the placeholder for it. I think maybe in the future I will actually have a placeholder that has a QR code, and maybe that will actually link up to my video on how to make a QR code. If you're interested in that, I will try to remember to put that link down below as well. But I do have a video that shows you how to make a QR code and how to use it in your scrapbooking. So you can look for that down below as well. So I'm just using some Zotz bling. You could use glue dots as well. Any of those sticky glue dot type of adhesives would work to adhere the acrylic down. And I really like the way that that looks. And then I'm just going to finish it off with my journaling off on the right hand side. And I'm using my Muji pen in black, and it's a 0.38 Muji pen. Super inexpensive pen. You can get them on Amazon. It's I'll link it down below as well, but it is my favorite journaling pen. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave those down below. I will get back to you as quickly as I can, even though I don't respond every single day. I do read them all, and I do respond at some point. Might take a few days. So thank you for watching, and if you don't mind hitting the like button if you enjoyed this video, and if you don't mind subscribing if you're not already subscribed, I'd love that too. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.